Well, thank you for coming back and all of that good stuff that I normally say. Let me get right into it. In the last episode, I talked to the fellas. Specifically, I talked about how dating has changed, and as such, our approach to dating has to change. Go back and check that episode out if you haven't listened to it already. And if you have listened to it, go back and listen to it again. And as I always say, tell 50 friends to tell 50 friends. But anyway, today I want to talk to the ladies because unfortunately, ladies, um, if the dating game has changed for the fellas, as such, we had to change and adapt. The fellas, that is, had to change and adapt. Then, so do you all have to adapt to the changes and how things have changed for in dating, just in general? In the last episode, I use LL Cool J as a Round Away Girl as a baseline of how things used to be back in the day. Basically, women could treat dudes however they chose, and guys were to shake off all that abuse and continue pursuing until the woman eventually gave in. And next thing you know, you're in love, or at least some version of love. But in this modern day of dating, a man pursuing a woman to no end because she was playing hard to get is now seen as stalking, basically. And ladies, in this modern day of dating, when a man approaches you, you can't play hard to get. You can't abuse him and expect him to keep chasing. And while I use the word abuse, it really wasn't abuse, Back in the day, there was no room for shy guys, basically. You were either aggressive in your pursuits of women or you were basically alone. Those were your two options. I don't know why that's funny to me, but it is. On a side note, that's where this whole fallacy began, of women thinking that there were no good men in this world. At least that's what I believe. It's never that there weren't good guys out there. It was just that there were and are so many guys that are scared to approach a woman, that only the aggressive dog dudes were the only men being seen. And that led women to believe that all men were like those aggressive dog dudes. And that's how stereotypes begin. Think about it. If women back in the day felt like they should never approach a guy, and decent guys found approaching women as too intimidating, how would women know that decent men exist, really? And online dating is helping those shy guys level the playing field because it's easier to interact with an online profile than it is to approach an actual female woman. As a result, um, I'm talking to more and more women that will admit to meeting decent guys, even if those guys aren't the guys that they would date. It's not the guys that they're compatible with. You know, hey, that's progress. Yeah. At least it's not the usual all guys are dogs stuff that you'd often hear. And all of this kind of leads to the point of this episode, actually, which is women, um, in this new dating age, you need to be softer on the fellas. With this influx of less aggressive guys in the dating pool. Well, they've always been in the dating pool, but they haven't approached women. I don't know what kind of dating pool they were in, because if you're not approaching women, then I don't really know that you can really see yourself in the dating pool. But anyway, they're in the online dating pool now. So, and thanks to online dating, they can be in the pool and exist in the pool and all that stuff. And men are starting to realize that the way that many of us were raised back in the day, with that whole be a man and be tough, be tough and don't cry, and suck it up and don't show emotion, that whole mentality, you know, maturity, again, with the help of therapy, has made many of us realize that the way that we were raised really doesn't do anything but kill us off earlier. Statistics have always shown that women outlive men, but I honestly believe that part of the reason for that is that men were taught by parents and encouraged by women to hold on to so much stuff. Now, I can't deny that men need to go to the doctors more. So that might be part of why we're not outliving women, because women go to the doctors all day, every day. Yeah. But with that said, a big part of the stress that comes with, just holding stuff in, it can kill you off too. Um, but e- even Yeah, but even with that said, though, even with us needing to go to the doctor more, even though we don't go to the doctor as much, I think even that is part of this whole be tough, be a man and stuff like that. We just kind of took it to a different level, which it wasn't intended to be. But what can we do? With all that said, ladies, you have to accept that men are becoming more and more sensitive. As such, you have to view dating differently. Like most women that I know have a line that a man can cross that will make him look like a bitch in her mind. That line might be in a different place from women to women, but like I said, most, if not all, women have that line that a man dare not cross. And ladies, I know you don't want to hear it, but you'll need to rethink if you want a sustainable. You'll need to rethink that if you want a sustainable relationship. You know, therapy has made us softer, and more men are going to therapy. Yeah. And in making us softer, you're going to have to accept that you'll have to lower the expectations that you had of us in these relationships, specifically when it comes to our emotions. You'll have to accept that your role, ladies, may have to be closer to 50% than you probably like. It is what it is. Again, if you want a sustainable relationship. Yeah. And even though a lot of people, there's still like a pocket of guys that resist the whole idea of therapy. But even though they might resist the idea of going to an actual therapist, they're more open to the idea of therapy. A lot of people just don't trust the people that are administering the therapy or something like that. But yeah, guys are getting sensitive, and it's because they are starting to learn that their emotional stuff isn't bad like we were always taught. And ladies, you just kind of have to adjust to that. Yeah. And it's funny because I hear women all the time, they talk about um, how they want a man that's vulnerable and more in touch with his feelings. But if you really want that, you can't regulate what's too much versus too little. You have to accept that that 90s man is falling further and further away. Honestly, a lot of those guys, the super aggressive guys, are the ones that I'm referring to from back in the 90s that you loved, the ones that you thought were all dogs because you thought that was the only type of man that existed. Yeah, those guys eventually just got tired of the game and got married. And unfortunately, many of them are in bad marriages. Yeah. I mean, I don't have any statistics to back me up on that, but yeah, dogs don't stop being dogs. And either they're unhappy in their marriages or their wives are unhappy in their marriages because, yeah, nobody really wants a dog in the same way that men love attitude until they marry it. Yeah, I want a woman with spice. I want a woman with attitude. Yeah, until that spice gives you heartburn. Yeah, it's good in bed, but outside of it, eek. Anyway, anyway, but yeah, those super aggressive guys, they're in bad marriages, and what's left are the guys that are more evolved and aren't just accepting what a woman's demands are of a man. These guys are making demands on their own, you know, of their own, actually. These guys are searching for what truly makes them happy instead of just accepting that they're supposed to be happy in love. These guys aren't buying into the whole happy wife, happy life model that has existed forever. These guys are like, what about my happiness? These guys are starting to ask, well, where's the happy husband's model? Happy husband, it doesn't even rhyme. See, because nobody ever really put any thought into it. Happy groom, yeah, there's no real way to like, yeah, no one ever really put any thought into that. Happy wife, happy life just rolls off the tongue because somebody just really thought about what makes a wife happy. I mean, yeah, if I'm happy, everybody's happy. Yeah, and these modern day guys are like, yo, I need something too, you know? And as such, ladies, you have to adapt to that behavior. You have to adapt your behavior, actually. That is, again, if you want a sustainable relationship. So, ladies, after all of these years, if you want the communication that you desire or the honesty and trustworthiness that you desire, in this day and age, you might have to look at that man that you might have considered a bitch back in the day and think, well, maybe I can work with that. I know it sucks, but that's what it is. So see, that was a short message, much shorter than the one that I gave to the fellas last week. So hey, be thankful for that. Yeah. And it's pretty straightforward and simple. I want to end by talking about two things. One, this is real quick, and this is just a thought. I know back in the day we used to talk about Kanye West a lot, but not because of his crazy stuff. This was before he really went crazy. Well, calling him crazy isn't really fair because, he really does have stuff going on. But with that said, we used to talk about his relationships and we used to wonder out loud, me and Reggie, yes, that Reggie, we used to wonder out loud, how does this man continue to date? And what does it say about the women that continue to date him? Well, Kanye West, it is rumored by a lot of outlets that he got married again. Now, even after all of this stuff that is going on in Kanye West's life right now, still there was a woman that said, yes, Kanye, I will marry you. Basically, what this says to me is, I really need to find a way to get more money. Because it seems like if you have enough money, hey, there will always be somebody there waiting for you. Yeah. And I want to end this. So that was one thought. The second thing is a little bit more serious, or a lot more serious, actually. It's about the story of Darius Miles. And for people that don't know Darius Miles, he was a basketball player on the Alabama Crimson Tide college basketball team. It's funny, I say it that way, makes it seem like I don't know anything about sports when I actually do. But yeah, he was on the team, and he has now been arrested for murder. And the way there's still parts of the story that are still coming out, but at its base, what is believed right now as I record this is that Darius Miles and his friend, they they approached a woman that he wanted to get with. The women turned him down, and I don't know how she turned him down. I don't know if she had an attitude when she turned him down. I don't know if she was nice when she turned him down. She said she had a boyfriend. She also has a child. And basically, between Darius and the friend, one of them came back and shot the woman dead. Um, Now, Darius is now saying that it wasn't him, but he did give his friend the gun that was used to kill her. Now, I mentioned that about, I don't know if she had an attitude or anything like that when she turned him down or anything like that, or if she was nice or however it went down. I say all of that because um, not to try to victim blame or anything like that, regardless of what she said to him or how she turned him down. She didn't deserve to get shot, um, killed or not. She didn't deserve to get killed. And I bring this up not to victim blame or anything like that, but it is to just tell the ladies, yo, you got to look out for yourselves. You know, I just spent this whole episode talking about shy guys and super aggressive guys and stuff like that. You know, guys can be weird sometimes, and that aggression can take on many different forms, unfortunately. And those forms of aggression can have ways of having impacts on ladies that isn't good, and is part of what taints the views of men by women. But regardless of if you think we're all dogs or whatever, um, I plead with you all to act accordingly and to be safe. It's funny. I don't have a TikTok account or anything like that, and I don't really get into all of the videos about this. World Star, is World Star still around? Where you would have the people fighting and stuff. I don't get into any of that. But more and more, I'm starting to read and hear about stories about women actually trying to fight men, mostly younger women, not necessarily those that fall into the demographic of this podcast. But regardless of what it is, ladies, emphasize your safety. And there is no shame in making demands to ensure your safety. If a guy is the one that you want to be with, then he'll understand that you might want to take it slower. You might not want to go to his house on the second date. Now, I understand that I'm shooting myself in the foot, because if I can get a woman to come over here on the second date, I'm all for it. But with that said, yeah, but with that said, yeah, your safety should be the focal point and the primary responsibility. And even though this young woman unfortunately didn't even get a chance to um, date this dude, she didn't want to date the dude. Just in turning a dude down, you just have to put a little bit more thought than maybe you would like. Um, and that goes back to that whole 90s vibe that that I was referring to in the past two episodes, where, I remember back in the day, shoot, back in those 90s, I would like walk up to him and ask a girl for a number, and she would like actually roll her eyes and walk away. That has actually happened to me before. And that was just kind of like that accepted around the way girl type of attitude, like you just had to take L's like that. But these guys, partially because they are more sensitive in this day and age, these younger guys in particular, I think Darius is in his early 20s. Yeah, these guys, they don't take rejection well, obviously. And the harsher the form of rejection, the worse that they'll take it. So yeah, so just be responsible. I don't even know if responsible is the right word, but be safe and taking care of yourself, and dealing with some of these guys, because some of these guys aren't about the best. Now, with that said, I will say that that type of guy, that's a small percentage. Whereas I know some women in particular would like to point that as a large percentage, but no, it's not. It's a small percentage. The vast majority of guys, 99% of guys, are not looking to hurt women in any way. But with that said, you don't know sometimes the 1% from the 99. So be safe. That is my lecture for the day. And that is this episode for the day. See, it didn't really take long. No, it did not. Hey, be safe out there. Dating is hard. And I don't really know why it's hard, considering everybody says it's hard. You would think if everybody said it was hard, everybody would work to make it easier. Sounds like another conversation for another time, or another monologue for another time. Reggie, you want to say something to these people? No, he doesn't. I'm out of here. And on behalf of myself and the socially awkward Reginald, and again, if you want to hear Reggie and his pontifications, you can listen to the first 50 episodes of this podcast when he was an active member. And you will hear Reggie ramble about all of the things that he believes. Now, just prepare yourself, because you might not like or agree with some of the things that he believes. But hey, at least you'll know that I'm not just talking to myself. Everybody take care, be safe, blah, 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 and goodbye.